My name is Tammy Joya, and I'm an advocate for children with special needs. And the school district can go for a hearing for an initial eval or a re-eval. Okay? That's their answer. They're not going to answer your question. They're going to say the only time the school district can file for consent override is for an initial eval or a re-eval. Nothing in there if it's not for an initial eval and it's not for a re-eval. And you have to get this letter from OSAP. Okay, because Massachusetts, the attorneys in Massachusetts are doing it left, right, and center. They love doing it. And then you send her an email. You put her name in it, and you put Laurie Vander Plug, which is Rebecca's boss. And put what's his name? Dwight Thomas. If you're from Massachusetts, Dwight Thomas is his name. Okay? If you inbox me later and you're from Massachusetts, I'll give you all the information. It doesn't matter if she rejected the whole IEP or not. Okay? Yes, do that video. Oh, okay, I will. Okay, Barbara. So, Barbara, this is your number to contact you. I have a lot of numbers from you. Yes, you can use a complaint for the... Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to file a complaint. Now, the complaint that I'm going to file is not a state complaint to the Department of Education. It's a complaint against a board-certified behaviorist. I'm going to show you all the process that I go through. I'm going to have the camera behind me looking at my screen so you guys can see my process, okay, and what I do, all right? And then you guys can take from it what you will, all right? But, yeah, Paula, they're full of shit. Sorry, but they are. I don't care nothing about it. That is so awesome to know. Yes. Michelle, always remember, just look in your school laws, but 99% of the time, 99.99999, a mediation agreement is a legal binding contract, which means it supersedes going back to the Department of Education. You don't go back to the Department of Education for nothing. You have the dates. You have the content of the agreement. You have the signatures of everybody. You have a description of what the contract is about. So you have all the components of a legal binding contract. You just skip your happy butt right down to district court the second. So mediation agreements are good. I can't even tell you the kinds of things that I've gotten for kids at mediation. I am going to tell you. I've gotten money for kids without going to a hearing. I've gotten money for kids. I've gotten programs for kids, like programs like special ed programs, placements for kids in residentials, and what do you call it? Day programs for kids, horseback riding, swimming, BCBA services. Oh no, mediation agreements are good, but you got to know your stuff. You can't just go there and not know what you're fighting for, okay? You have to let them know what you want. Now, if you're going to mediation and you didn't file for a complaint, because your complaint has, if you filed a complaint and that's why you went to mediation, or you filed for a hearing and that's why you went to mediation, what you need to do is bring your remedy, because in your complaint and in your due process hearing complaint, you have to include a remedy, what you want, okay, if you win. So, bring that to mediation, all right? And that's what you tell them. I want all of this. Now, usually, what I like to tell my parents is, what you do is, you load the deck. So your remedy has a whole bunch of stuff in there that you don't care if you don't get, okay? You don't care if you don't get it, but you fight as if you care, okay? You're playing poker. You're bluffing. If you get it, good, but if you don't, it's okay too. You don't care. But there's main things in there that you care about. And then you could say, well, I'll let all of that other stuff go if you give me this, this, and this. See what I'm saying? You negotiate, okay? You litigate. That's called litigating. Or that's the epitome of litigation, because you don't end up in court litigating your case. You don't want to go to hearing, people, ever. Okay, let me tell you what I found out from OSAP, because I don't like them. So I found out, because I've been having problems with hearing officers. And under IDEA, there's a whole section of IDEA that talks about the administration funding. So every state gets a certain amount. They apply for the grant from the feds, OSAP, and they submit their grant application. Now, if they get the grant application, then they have to sign a document that says they are given the Fed's assurances that the idea will be met. That's the condition, okay? The condition that the state gets the federal money is that they make assurances in a contract on that grant agreement. They are assuring the feds that they are going to implement, they're going to ensure the implementation of IDEA 100% straight across the board. That's why I said you guys don't sign the contract. State does. That's why you're not, because if they don't, it's a denial of fape for every kid they didn't implement the idea for, and they could lose all of that money. Okay? So they're the ones that sign the contract, not us. That's why we don't get a check individually. The state gets the check. And then when the state gets, when the State Department of Education gets the check, then it's time for the school districts, individual school districts in your state, to fill out the grant. It happens once a year, same time every year. Same thing for the State Department of Education. It's between April and June, something like that. You can go on OSEP's website and you can actually get the date, okay? And the state, the public schools, it does the same thing, okay? So when they sign that contract, they have to ensure that all of the idea, the school districts too, they're implementing the idea. If they don't implement the idea, it's a denial of fape. I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, I'll just keep going. So that would be a denial of fape, okay? That's why it doesn't matter. If the school district can only go for consent override, there's only two ways. If the school district asks you to do an initial evaluation because it's under child find and they suspect your child to have a disability, so they have to do an initial evaluation, and they come to you and they say, we want to evaluate, and you say, bite me, I don't want you to evaluate my kid. Nope. And then a reeval, so your kid, they want to reevaluate your kid, and you say, no, you're not, I'm done with special ed, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. Done, bye. Okay? So if that's the case, then they can take you to hearing. But that's the only time they can take you to hearing to get consent override. They do it. When I say that's the only time, they do it. Oh, that's what I was talking about. So I got pissy and I contacted OSEP because there's just something hinky going on, because the law says that hearing officers cannot be employees of the State Department of Education. Okay. And I had a long discussion with Rebecca Wallenwinder about this. And I said, so what do you mean by employee? She said, you get paid by the person. Oh, okay, good. So the hearing officers can't get paid by the Department of Education, correct? She said, correct. Okay, good. So I waited a few years, and then I got her again. Now I got the compliance book, which I don't have here. I got the compliance book. And the compliance book said that a certain amount of the IDEA funding that goes to the state, a certain portion of it is for administrative costs. That goes for, state, that goes for the paper, pushing paper. That goes for the departments like the state complaints, the people that work in the complaint department that do the investigations, and hearing officers. Go figure. So let me see if I get this straight. The State Department of Education gets the federal money for the IDEA. And then school districts get the money for IDEA when they file for the grant. Okay. Then the state uses a portion of that money to do the state complaint procedure. So those are the investigators. Then the hearing officers are also getting paid out of that money. See, now I have a problem because I did a hearing one time, and the hearing officer in New York got $1,400 a day plus expenses. So how much money is the administrative cost? How much money do they have? If the hearing officers are getting paid under IDEA money, is it just IDEA money? Because one hearing officer, the hearing officers in New York get paid $1,400 a day. That's just to show up for the hearing. That doesn't include going to the hearing, preparing for the hearing, doing, if they have to go to a school, like this hearing officer lived in New York City, but she had to travel 4 hours to get to our hearing. So that was transportation we had to pay to and from. The school district had the school district had to pay for all of her meals. So the state pays the school district, I guess, for the hearing officer. I don't know how this works. It doesn't make any sense. But they do get paid under the IDEA money for administrative costs. So it's all a little hinky, if you ask me. So that's why when I say you don't want to go to hearing, you do not want to go to a hearing. You just don't. It's not worth it, guys. Mass town refuses to have the remote learning to teach, videos and website only. They have the ability, but contact OSEP and tell them what the school said. So there's no teachers. So how are they going to do? So that's a violation of, that's a denial of FAPE for children with special needs. 100% straight across the board. That's what you do, report them. That's a violation. And I'll tell you what. Inbox me and I will send you some letters to all school districts, to the state. And then actually there's, I know Pembroke, Mass. They actually gave one of the parents who's a member here a letter all about what OSEP said that school districts have to do. So they can't do that. They have to Mass town refuses to have live remote, so they're not paying any teachers, is what they're doing. Videos and website only. I don't even know what that means. They have the ability but refuse. What are our rights? Your rights, contact OSEP. I would put that in writing. I would file a complaint against the state, because if you have a child with special needs, how is your child doing that without a teacher? So I don't understand. How is your child doing that? You have to contact OSEP. Put that question right in there. Tell them what the name of the town is. Her name is Rebecca Wallawander. If you inbox me, I will give you the email address to OSEP, okay, and the contact person for Massachusetts. And all you have to do, honest to God, is cut and paste that question right there and send it to them. And tell them, how is my kid going to learn if there's no live person on there? There's no person to ask a question. My kid can't ask a question for school. Are you kidding me with that? How is that live? Typical kids may be able to do that, but a child with a disability, not for nothing, but no kid, you can't ask any questions. That's the stupidest thing, but that's typical of Massachusetts. That's the typical thing Massachusetts would do. I don't find that hard to believe at all, because they're stupid. This is why I left Massachusetts. The stupidity regarding special education and education on a whole, public school, the stupidity level in that state, the Department of Education, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, they're stupid. And they like it. And they don't mind that you think they're stupid. They don't mind at all. Because they get away with everything they're doing. They're really not stupid. What they do is they don't care anything about our kids. They just keep doing it. Hanover Mass did too. I believe they did. They have to direct. That's right. That's right. Or they don't get no money. That's why you have to report them, Michael. Okay? That's why you have to report them. They're paying teachers, but no live teachers. They can't do that. How are they paying teachers? That's malfeasance. What are the teachers doing? I mean, that's a sweet job. Then I have a master's degree. I'm going to go tell them, because you don't even have to be in the state now to be a teacher. Michelle, send that letter to OSEP. Send it to Rebecca Wallawander and say, what the hell is this? And include the commissioner and the state SPED director. That's what you do. Who's doing this? No, a very upstanding Mike Piney. Okay, send that. Hanover. That's because Hanover's stupid. I hate Hanover. That's another bad school district. Hanover, Rockville. Is it Rockville? What's that? Rockland. I didn't like Rockland either. Contacted, nothing done. That's why you put, this is what you do. You contacted DESE, good. Now you contact DESE, use that same exact email and attach the document. Okay? You inbox me, Michael, and what I'll do is, I'll give you the letter from OSEP. because OSEP has instructions on how they're supposed to teach kids, because that's malfeasance. They're having teachers what? Submit a PowerPoint presentation. That's not teaching. But see, that's typical in Massachusetts. So what you do is you contact me, you inbox me, okay? Inbox me tomorrow, and I will give you the documentation and the email addresses as to who to send this nonsense to, because they're not listening. They don't care. And they're going to say some wild stuff, but from what I'm hearing from parents, because I haven't been on OSEP's website in a month, but from what I'm hearing from parents, OSEP actually brought down how they're supposed to educate kids. So let's go look at some stuff first. Don't do anything. We're going to look at some stuff first from OSEP. I want to know what they're sending you. Created links and worksheets live and live in Braintree. I won't say nothing about Braintree. But they're just as bad. Okay, let me tell you what they did in Braintree to one of my kids one time. So I represented this little boy. The little boy was deaf. He had he was developmentally challenged. He had virtually no skills whatsoever as far as verbal skills. Okay, none. The teachers in the classroom, he had 5 adults in his classroom. They were all teaching him the same sign word, one word, 5 different ways to sign. So he was a little frustrated. They never contacted the deaf and hard of hearing to come to the table to help out the parent, to get the parent involved with the deaf and hard of hearing commission. They never did that. And then at the team meeting, the stupid sped director, who's no longer there, she showed up to the meeting an hour late, looked at the deaf and hard of hearing commission right in the face and said, "I did invite you." And the woman had to sign, "The first time we heard from you people was from Tammy Joya." Yeah, they're no good. No good. Another thing that happened there, let me tell you another story about what is DSE. That's in Massachusetts. It's the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. It's in Massachusetts, DESE. Some people call it DESE. I call it DESE. It's dumb. It's the Department of Education in Massachusetts. No correcting meds. They sent a good letter explaining parents' rights, not hinky. Great virtual learning program. I've looked at many other towns and they are a mess. However, is very good remote learning. It depends on your kid. I mean, it might be very good remote learning from your perspective, Michelle, but not from somebody else's. And that's what we have to understand. Every child doesn't learn the same way. And if your child can learn that way, that's great. But a lot of people want a real teacher in front of them. I mean, then what the hell? We don't even have to do this anymore. Let's just get all the kids and screw school. Let's just keep the kids at home. We don't need teachers. We just proved now we don't need teachers. And that's what I told everybody not too long ago. Everybody better be afraid, because what we're proving is that teachers are obsolete. All we need is some little programmer person just filling out some stuff and putting it out there. Do PowerPoint presentations and put it out. I make great PowerPoint presentations. My PowerPoint presentations is animated, has shit moving in and out, all kinds of stuff. So, what's good for one is not good for all, because that mindset is what violates children's rights. If schools are taking that straight across the board, then they're violating IDEA by a huge margin. Every child is on a case-by-case basis. You cannot do that with regular ed kids, and you might be able to do it with regular ed kids, but even regular ed kids, you think a regular ed kids is just going to sit there and look at that? Why can't the teachers teach? They're getting a paycheck. Why can't they're not doing anything. Why can't they sit in front of the damn camera? I don't understand why that would be okay with anybody. I don't understand. The teachers are getting paid to submit a program, and they're putting it on live at a certain time. Do you know how easy that is? How are you getting paid? You can't ask any questions, so that you're good with the kids not asking any questions of the teacher. So there's no raising of the hand. There's none of that, which you can do live. So the teachers don't need, okay, good. It's not great virtual learning, not for me. It might be a great virtual learning program, but that's for kids who don't have any problems. That's for kids who don't want to ask any questions. That's for parents who don't need to be sitting there watching their kids. No, it's not good for everybody. Kids with dyslexia can't do that. Kids that are developmentally challenged can't do that. Kids who have ADHD can't do that. I mean, they have to do stuff. They have to ask questions. They got to type. They got to do all kinds of stuff. There has to be interacting. Okay? You're welcome. Cynthia. What if your child cannot work independently? Exactly. If you can work independently, that is a wonderful thing. It's stupid. Most kids can't. I don't know a lot of adults that can do it, to be honest. A lot of people need someone looking over their shoulder, making sure they're doing their job right. And that's the same thing with kids. One of the things that I put in IEPs is a accommodation so that they can learn, or a goal, so that they can learn how to work independently. Send an email to teacher if you have questions. No, absolutely not. It has to be in the moment. Absolutely not. That's not what it's for. That's not education. That's babysitting. I hate them. See, this is what I was afraid of. This is what I was afraid of. But see, you know who needs to be afraid? These lazy teachers that are doing that crazy mess because they're lazy and they're getting a paycheck. As if what you people need to do is contact the school superintendent or contact the state and find out how these people are getting paid. How are they getting paid? And what you need to do is copy that stuff. If they're sending you the program, then copy it. Okay? Save it to your hard drive. And then send it to the school superintendent and to the state and say, we never saw the teacher. I don't even know what the teacher looks like, and neither does my kid. Is there a special reason why this is happening? And if this is the way we're going to do it, somebody needs to tell the president of the United States, because it's better than his idea, sending our kids to school to be killed by COVID. Teachers want, the school system won't let them. See, this is what I'm talking about. The school system won't let them. The school system won't let them, but they don't have a problem. But see, this is you guys. This is what I said. You have to do your due diligence. You have to be a haunt, and you have to ask them how they doing, how they getting paid. They went to school to teach. That's not teaching. That's doing reports and putting out programs. That's not teaching. How is that teaching? Do not accept that. How is your kid going to learn if your kid ask a question? Really? Oh, I can't wait to see how quick the teacher answers the email. Oh, you're welcome, Cynthia. I bet. My kid wasn't either. My kid had ADHD. Okay. If he was doing virtual learning and a fly went by him, he's gone. Ta-da, pa-dow. Whoa, what? I heard a noise. Gone. Virtual learning's all done. He only had ADHD. ADHD, yes. He only had that. He couldn't focus for 5 seconds. Good. My kid couldn't do it. I read about that too, exactly. That they will change ed a lot, and they are going to. They're getting away with it. Parents have to you guys have to be strong. Because what's going to happen is, how are you going to go to work? Your kid's going to do this. This is what they're calling school. Do you have any idea how far behind our kids are going to be compared to other countries? In about 3 seconds, we're going to be a third world country. Our kids, we don't have kids with a high IQ of anything. Who's going to Harvard? Who's even graduating from high school? So what they're going to do is they're going to lower the standards so everybody graduates. It's like, you know, when you have little kids and they're playing Little League and stuff, everybody gets a trophy. That's what they're going to do. But meanwhile, nobody can write. Nobody can read. Nobody can comprehend. Nobody can count. And nobody knows ABCs. Nice. But they all got a degree. They all got a diploma. This is what we're going to have. The reason why we have public school is so that our kids can grow up and they can become productive citizens. How productive is your kid going to be? Let's say your kid doesn't have, you know, a complex disability like, you know, autism. You know, it's real bad. Let's say your kid is high functioning autistic. Let's say your kid is dyslexic, or your kid has ADHD, like my kid. For all intents and purposes, if your kid was in public school, your kid would be in a regular ed class receiving special ed supports and supplemental aids. Or at least that's what they should be getting. So, your kid gets none of that now. But you know what they're going to do? The kid's going to graduate. You know what they're going to say? Oh, all the kids did really well. They're lying. Okay, they're skewing the numbers. Because they're grading all of these kids as if they did something. They're grading them because they participated. Okay? They don't even know if the kids stayed in the room while the... Do you know what I do when I'm doing my class online? I got my earbuds in. I'm doing all kinds of stuff in the kitchen and everything. There's nothing to see. I'm an adult though. Met with the school. He will not allow live remote teaching. Why? You stop arguing with him. You have to go above his head, Michael. You have to go above his head. You have to take it to the next level. First of all, the school superintendent, that's regular ed kids. If your kid has special needs, you need the special ed teacher, special ed director. That's who you need. If you're a regular ed, then go ahead, deal with the school superintendent. I don't know. The school superintendent and the special ed director, same level. Okay? So if you think you're going above the sped director by going to the school superintendent, you're not. The school superintendent reports to the school committee. The special ed director reports to the state directly. You understand? They blame it. They blame all CD. That's stupid. Oh, well, good, because they're about to change all of that. CD guidelines. Oh, yeah, your kids are all going to school. Now what? This is what I told you guys a long time ago. They're going to blame COVID-19 for everything. For their 100% failure to even think outside of the box. Because God forbid they should do that. They just want to get a paycheck. They don't want to have to do any work. That's what our country has become. A bunch of people who don't want to work, but they want to get paid. Something I argued with my son about for years and years and years. My son, because he's ADD, thought all he had to do was show up on Monday and he got a paycheck for the whole week, even though he didn't go to work for the whole week. I had to tell him, dude, you go to work all week, then you get a paycheck. But apparently, that's the way we're doing it. ESY is 2 times 20 sessions each week for touching base. No, Michael. Listen, whatever's in your kid's IEP, that's what they have to implement.